David Mills. Millsy, I know you can't really hear me, but I think you're just making it up. How are you today?
Sim, it's good to be here. Looking forward to this clash. And no, I really cannot hear you. I am reading your lips as we speak. But yeah, should be a good clash here today. Northern Rays had a tough season up against the Tigers, who probably everyone thought would do a little better than what they currently are in the ladder. But yeah, it should be good. Both teams just got pride to play for, really. Can't make the semis, so it should be a ding-dong of a battle. Well, absolutely. Like as you said, they have had their issues off the court there, the Northern Rays, but there was a real funding issue early on, and they had to seek sponsorship. And I believe the local community from up north rallied round and got the girls the required funding for the rest of the season. Hopefully, moving forward, this is a franchise that can continue. But as you say, like the Tigers have had a better season than they have, so it'll be interesting to see how we go. So, not a bad lineup today. We've got some good games on.
Yeah, some cracking games this afternoon. So we'll start with this one again between the Tigers and the Rays, and then we'll see the Jets take on the Thunder, and the Sharks and the Wildcats will end out the round. And the competition, so it will be the last game for our Sun teams this afternoon, this game in particular.
Yes, it will be an interesting afternoon of netball. And of course, we've got the Vicky Wilson Cup going on in the background.
Yes, a lot's happening here at the State Netball Centre this afternoon. We'll be running the Tigers.
Well, we've got Amy Sullivan kicking off at shooter. Alexia Baker is the goal attack. Alana Schuster, the wing attack. Katie Walker, the Ferrari, is she's running the centre. Of course, Claire Haig at WD, late change there. Leah Middleton makes up the GD. And former Aussie Diamond, Chanel Gomes, is goalkeeper. Oh, the teams are being read out as I'm reading them out as well. It's stereo for all the fans back home.
For the Rays this afternoon, we have McIntyre and Tilltale back in shooting. Crosley and Cadillac in the middle with Wilcox on the wing defence, Fredrickson at goal defence, and Chloe Cooper at goalkeeper. Coached this afternoon by Gillian Joyce.
Gillian Joyce, of course, is huge in the Defence Forces. She basically was running the Defence Force netball there for a long time. Was the Australian Defence Forces ladies coach, and they play an annual series against the Kiwis around Anzac Day every year.
Yeah, fantastic. Great to see her putting her wisdom up there in the north, having her run this race for the first time. It's fantastic, like we said, to see them in the competition, and we hope that they're here for a very long time.
Indeed. So, looks like we're underway.
So what's your tip? You like to call these things early before the game starts, so I want to know now before the first centre pass.
Well, I nearly nailed the 2 last time I was here, so I'll have to go with Tigers by 22. There you go.
Okay, Tigers by 22. You heard it here.
So.
Well, it was a great start by the Tigers there. So if they play like that, you could be right.
Usually am, Sim. Usually am. Yeah, the Tigers. That was very impressive. Not much defensive pressure on the way down, and they've certainly got that early goal straight away.
So it was early pressure there by the Tigers, but the Rays have been able to maintain possession.
What's your tip, Sim?
Look, I think the Tigers will be too strong this afternoon. However, the Rays have stolen bonus points off teams throughout the season, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to get one today. In some ways, I hope they do.
We all do that. Should be looking forward to a good game. Last game of the season, we've done a lot of live streaming. Well, not so much myself, but you guys have. So hopefully the viewers at home are enjoying this.
Yeah, definitely.
Give them a good game.
Great.
1-1 early stages, so we're away.
Yeah, great shot there by McIntyre. So we see Leah Middleton in possession there. Leah passes to Lexi, who are both leaving the Tigers after this game this afternoon and heading over to the UK to play in the Vitality Cup.
That's like the equivalent of the Suncorp Super Netball, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. So, great exposure and fantastic effort by both of those players to be able to secure contracts for the 19-20 season. We'll see Lexi is heading over to the Wasps, I believe, and Leah will be heading over to the Storm. So they'll go from being teammates here to opposition next year.
Of course, Surrey Storm, a good friend of mine, Tom Razzie, was the manager there for a number of years until cancer unfortunately terminated his life. But the Surrey Storm have a great history, got some great players there. He used to be coached and play coached by Tansin Greenway from England Netball. So.
Yeah, who also is a former Firebird, yeah. So lots of good connections there.
Indeed.
So really a strong context there by Baker, but unfortunately called for the contact.
Both teams feeling each other out, a little bit scrappy early on.
Yeah, look, definitely. I think they're going to want to leave everything out on the court, so hopefully they do, they'll be trying to push those passes, and there's nothing to lose really this afternoon except the game.
It's true. There's a game to be lost and won. So a missed shot there keeps it at 1-1. After the bright start, we've gone through a scoring drought now.
See Katie Walker there in possession. So I would like to know the last time that she missed the final series in the equivalent of this competition over the many years.
Yeah, it'd be a while, you'd imagine. Tigers have been one of the strongest clubs within the framework that we've had since since Tier 1 or whatever you want to call it started.
Yep.
So I'm surprised as well. So, and she certainly moves down the court well. So.
Yeah, definitely. Chanel Gomez not happy there with the call, but anyway. So 2-0. Good start by the Rays. The Tigers will be looking to make sure that they convert this one. Strong challenge there by Fredrickson.
Another goal to Somerville. She's one of your favourites?
Amy Somerville is one of my players that I do like, yes.
Shooting well today, starting better than the last time I saw it. It's a bit patchy, I guess is the word to use, against the Cougars when I first saw her play.
Great passage of play there by the Tigers. Oh.
Not sure what happened there.
The Tigers are unsure either, but anyway, Rays are back in possession. This is the first time I have been able to call the Rays game this season.
You haven't seen them live before? They play, what, half the games up north? So.
Yeah, they play a handful of them up north. But often when they do play down here in Brisbane, it is this earlier time slot to allow them to get on the plane and head back north in the same days. So it's a massive feat as a player to have to come down in the morning, play, and then head back home. So well done to them.
So they do fly down on game day, do they? That is reasonably tough. So they would have started fairly early this morning then. Nice play there between Somerville and Baker. Baker misses though, unfortunately.
Great rebound there.
Keeping the game close. Another great intercept there by, that was Haig, I believe. Has my eyes today. Middleton, sorry. My eyes are still dodgy.
They do look the same.
Stop it. Anywho, moving on. We have Tigers in possession and another turnover outside the circle, step footwork ball. Thoughts on that one?
I missed it actually. I wasn't watching their feet. I'm not even sure who was called for the stepping, to be honest.
Tell you what, with the Vicky Wilson Cup being on today, we've got quite a large crowd in attendance. Like both ends are fairly full, and there's a lot of people here. Probably one of the bigger crowds you've had for one of these games. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. It's the centre's buzzing this afternoon, which is great to see. And with the 3 games that we've got coming up, hopefully, they stick around and watch. This is really the premier competition here in Queensland where our best players get to showcase. So for the aspiring young netballers, it'd be great to see what it takes from these athletes. It's almost all over 6 minutes gone. It's quite a low scoring to start.
6 goals in 6 minutes is tough. So the Tigers, another unforced error there. Breaking, I believe.
So the Tigers are coughing off lots of possession, and they're fortunate at the moment that their defenders are able to win it back. The Rays really need to try and take these opportunities that are being handed to them.
not a lot of movement coming, or it all comes at once. The timing seems to be way up for the Rays at the moment.
I think the Tigers defenders have done a great job all year at disrupting most all the opposition teams they've come against.
That one's Haig.
That is Haig.
Excellent.
It was Middleton to Haig. Oh, well done there.
Excellent
Great
interception.
challenge.
That was Fredrickson, I believe. A long bomb makes no mistake.
Fantastic shot there by McIntyre.
4-3. It's a ding-dong battle at the moment. So the Rays, now that their season's over, do they wait? Does pre-season start soon? I don't know how this competition runs.
Yeah, look, this year the competitions were hugely influenced by the World Cup in terms of, when the Suncorp Super Netball was on, which then impacted the ANL, which then impacted this league. So, I'm not sure. I haven't seen what the draw is for next year. But it was certainly a much later start this year than it had been compared to previous years. For the athletes that are involved in either the state underage programs or ANL, I think if you ask them, they quite enjoyed the fact that it was staggered because it meant that they weren't having to be part of so many programs at once. However, what it means is it's a really long season for a lot of them. A lot of them have been training since probably December last year.
Great save there by Crosley. And Rays have a chance to tie up. Yeah, so the player loading is a fair problem with some of these younger players, yeah? They're in underage and there's elite comp as well.
Yeah, definitely. And, lots of coordination and management, which I think we do quite well here in Queensland. But it's, still it's asking a lot of, quite a select group of athletes. So, I think a lot of them will be looking forward, to when this season is, or this competition is over, because then they can really go on their off-season. I think for the Rays, I think they'll try and take all the positives, which they've had plenty of from this season, and think about how they can build on that for next year.
Well, of course, they've got to get their off-court position sorted first, and moving forward, recruiting players and coming back even more competitive than they were this year.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, when we look across some of the other HART Sapphire teams, there are, North Queensland representation in lots of them. So it's not necessarily about their ability to produce high-quality athletes. It's just being able to ensure that they're blooding them, and working with them when they remain up north. We see, players like Cara Conan and Kimmy Jenner are both North Queensland products.
Another intercept there touch there by Middleton.
Yeah, she's looking to have a cracker in her last game, and she's certainly doing that.
So 7-3, biggest margin for the Tigers. They seem to have just gelled scoring the last few.
Yeah, just starting to find their rhythm a little bit more than before. Oh, great pick up there by Wilcox. So the Rays back in possession. Would really like to great drive there across the top of the circle by their wing attack Crosley.
Another footwork call. No.
Well, bit of confusion, but the Rays still remain in possession.
So again with a long bomb, and again.
Fantastic shot.
She doesn't mind taking it from the fairway out.
No, she's had a beautiful shot on her, and I love that she just turns and goes to the post.
It goes in, it looks fantastic.
The team are having to work incredibly hard to get it to her, so she's rewarding them by not being afraid to take it to the post.
Yep.
So Tigers back in possession. Still quite, low scoring given we've got 4 minutes to go, and fantastic pick up there by Fredrickson. It's almost the battle of the defence ends at the moment, isn't it?
It is, and they're both doing a great job. 11 goals in, what about 11 minutes? It's pretty slow scoring.
Goal a minute, right?
Yeah, should be doing a little bit more than that. So, and again, another great rebound there by Chanel Jones.
It's great. I've been impressed with what Schuster's been able to put out on the court. So we haven't seen her previously before on even on what the equivalent was the HART Sapphire Series last year, and I think she's done a really good job given her first season, and she's had to take on some really tough opponents, but I think she's handled them really well.
Indeed. That was nice work there by the Tigers. And, nice shot there by Somerville. So, last time I saw her play, she bunged up that knee, left knee, I believe.
She did bung up that left knee.
She played last week.
Yes.
I noticed it's strapped again today, so it mustn't have been anything terribly serious.
Yeah, no, I don't. She's played in all of her games, well, definitely last week. Obviously, probably hindering her a little bit, but I'm sure, knowing the athlete that she is, she'll be doing everything possible to, make sure that she's right for these games. And given that this was the last one of her season, she's one of those athletes I was talking about that's had a really long season.
Yeah.
The Firebirds training partner had to go in and be a replacement player for a few weeks, was the fusion captain, so has done it all. So she'll be very much looking forward to this game being over, I'm sure, in some ways, just so that she can have a well-earned rest.
Tigers seem more controlled now in the offensive end.
Yeah, they definitely feel like they've just found their rhythm a bit, but the Rays aren't letting them have it their own way, which is great to see. Fredrickson's having a great game so far. Lots of touches and intercepts. That was a great lead there by Cooper. Put lots of pressure on that shot, and Amy really overpumped that one compared to what she has been doing.
Like a pass.
Yeah.
This time.
There we go, this time.
Decided not to pass. Gets another one.
So Tigers to double figures.
7 the margin already.
Great pick up there by Claire Haig.
So Katie Walker's got to be the fittest player at the comp still.
Yeah, look, I think she definitely would be one of the fittest players. We heard, we got intel that Stride from the Jags had done a 19.2 on her yo-yo test recently, but Katie, I think, would definitely be up there.
She's definitely a Ferrari surrounded by 4-5 Stevens at the moment. She just burns the court.
So in this last round, all players are still eligible for the MVP votes that will go towards the, to their tally to win the first Katie Walker Sapphire, which is a great award that the MVP from this competition will receive, sponsored by Legacy.
Excellent.
There was money on whether Katie Walker would win her own award, so who knows?
Gamble responsibly. Say that. Great intercept there by Fredrickson. She's had a few this quarter.
She has, and that's a great transition play there by the Rays.
Hopefully they can finish it.
Oh, well done, McIntyre. That was a lovely piece of play.
It's a long bomb. So inside the last few seconds of this quarter, and unfortunately the Rays can't score, so it looks like a 7-goal lead to the Tigers. Kind of what we expected.
Yeah, look, it is, but it probably started a little bit later than what we would have expected. We would have probably thought the Tigers would have dominated earlier in that quarter, and they weren't really able to do that until the last 5 minutes almost.
Yeah, it was 4-3 to them for a long time, and then they went on a 9-3 run, and there you go.
So the Tigers take the bonus points for that quarter. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back. Welcome back to the second quarter between the Carina League's Tigers and the Northern Rays. We see the Tigers were too strong in that first quarter, particularly towards the end there, Millsy, weren't they, when they were able to dominate and really push that score out. However, to the Rays' credit, they hung with them for the majority of the quarter.
Absolutely, like it was very close, 4-3, for a long time there. Was a lot of turnover, both defenders. I thought Fredrickson did a great job. Middleton, Gomes and Haig for the Tigers, all three of them did well. So there's lots of turnover.
Yep.
Unfortunately, a lot of the goals weren't getting converted.
That's
and
right.
As a result, it stayed 4-3 for quite a while, and then the Tigers sort of clicked into gear. They went on a 9-3 run, and we've got the scoreboard now of 13-6. So hopefully the Rays can finish a quarter, the way they started it, and who knows, they might even pick up a skin or two.
Yeah,
So what do you
definitely.
call them here?
Skins, I don't know.
Bonus points.
Definitely. Oh, that was a great start there. The Rays were able to turn that ball over from the Tigers centre pass. I'm just having a look. It looks like a new goal attack. So Tikatau's been replaced, and I am unsure by who. Fantastic shot there by McIntyre. Gosh, when she finds her eyes, she really knows how to nail them, doesn't she?
She does. She's shot particularly well. Doesn't mind a long bomb, as we've said a few times in the commentary. And she actually holds herself quite high in the circle, so it's something that she's actually trying to promote. Whereas we see a lot of the shooters, particularly the taller,
great ball there.
stronger ones, tend to just sort of post up and look for that ball there. So. But being a fairly slight and agile thing, McIntyre doesn't mind driving to the top of the circle, turning and shoot, which is a favourite of yours.
Yes,
as a coach,
definitely.
I've seen that.
Absolutely. I think as a coach and as a player.
I'm more a post-up sort of person. So, exactly where Somerville is, that's where I like my shooters to stay. So, but 1-1, so we're away early.
Yeah, so unfortunately the Rays were not able to make the most of that opportunity that they had from the Tigers' previous centre pass. But the Tigers back in possession now, and Amy Somerville, unlucky. But we see Maddie Grant has come on into goal attack for the Tigers, replacing Lexi Baker.
They do.
And so it looks like the attack end in the Rays, great ball there by their wing attack, have been replaced. And they've just brought a little bit more energy to this front line. However, when I say that, it's commentators' curse and the ball gets turned over.
It gets you every time.
It does.
Somerville doing what she does best. Just propped herself there off the hold and got it in a good position and made no mistake with the shot.
Yeah, it was great timing there by Somerville. Oh.
Loose ball, Tigers. Oh, just get away from her.
Oh, Haig. Tried to control it, but was unable to.
Looks like
well done.
Dupay is on for the Northern Rays.
In at goal attack?
Indeed. Remember, I do have dodgy eyes, so I was reading that off the shirt. So.
Well done, Millsy. I'm impressed.
Must be these really thick bifocals I'm wearing today.
Is that why you had the binoculars in your hand? Well done to Dupay.
Welcome back, Dave. So.
And Williams looks like she's on at wing attack.
Another good intercept there by Fredrickson. She's having some match.
Yeah, she's doing a great job this afternoon, Fredrickson. Really, trying to help keep her side in it. Oh. So an offensive call there on the Rays against their wing attack. Williams.
So must have been a little push off there because I didn't see it.
Yes. So the umpire
we're a
was
long way away.
We are, and you can't see properly, so.
People at home have joined the comedy routine here. Simone, she's appearing at the casino. Till next Thursday.
That was a nice entry to the edge of the circle there.
I was just about to say, they get it to there quite well, and then it just sort of breaks down, doesn't it? Like, it's just there's either too much rotation in the circle or not enough, and they quite often they hit the circle and then they have to stop or go backwards.
Yep.
So probably not ideal. I think coach would love to see them a bit more free flowing there. Nice screen set there by Somerville. and gets it back. That was a nice play by the Tigers.
It was really nice play by the Tigers. They're really starting to, push the score out on the scoreboard. However, for this quarter, they're only one ahead at the moment.
Have you been surprised by the Tigers' position on the ladder? Or do we go another way when you were surprised by some of the teams that are above them?
Yeah, look, I think I was thinking about this the other day. Yes, I do, but I think that's not necessarily a reflection on the Tigers. It's a reflection on how well some of these other teams have been playing. Particularly the Bull Sharks and the Wildcats, I think, are teams that people weren't really sure about and have really been able to, assert their authority in this competition.
I guess that's the beautiful thing about this competition. For so many years, you can almost predict who's going to win it before we even, you could almost predict it 2 years in advance.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's this year, it's certainly thrown up some different possibilities. Of course, Cougars are there; they're always there. But it's great to see the Jets, which is effectively the old Lions franchise.
Yes.
And the Gold Coast team, Sharks and Wildcats have been perennial sort of that team that sort of floats between third and sixth.
Yep.
And now they're entrenched in the four, which is awesome. So nice play again there by the Tigers. So great interplay between the two shooters. Grant unfortunately missed the shot there. So I haven't seen much of Grant at all yourself.
Yeah, look, she is a younger player compared to others on the court, so she was eligible for the 19s and under. So originally a Sunny Coast junior. Moved down here last year, I believe, for uni and things like that. So she, she's been knocking on the door, I think, to play at this level for a little while now, or at least for the last season. So it's great to see her, sitting behind Lexi and Amy, because she will reap, the rewards from learning off those two athletes who are very generous and giving in their time. Another great shot there by McIntyre. She's
4 for 4 for the quarter. So actually, the Rays are 100% for the quarter. It's just they're not getting good volume in there, I guess. Again, nice play by the Tigers. Starting to get that triangle offense working well. Grant picks up her own rebound.
It's a better shot.
Indeed. So I guess you mentioned university there. That would be something that would really affect the Northern Rays. Like, they get these good young players, get them into state programs, they finish school, they've got to go and develop their careers. And most of the universities, of course, in the southeast corner.
Yes. So
they end up playing for like the likes of Tigers and Bull Sharks and all that. So
yeah, look, definitely. That is, I suppose, a challenge for those regional teams. If you talk to the Panthers from Toowoomba, they face similar challenges, and they're closer, obviously, to Brisbane compared to where the Northern Rays are from. Ultimately, I think when you do talk to some of the coaches or from people from those regions, they just want their athletes to be on show. And if the Northern Rays is an opportunity, to allow more of their athletes to be on show, if they come down and play in Brisbane teams, then I think they're just as happy for them.
Katie Walker's starting to influence the game a lot now.
Yeah. Oh. And of course, you just put the mocker on her.
Well, I'm done. Thanks for memories on out of here.
Well done there by Somerville. There she is.
I'm not saying anything. I was going to say nice play by Somerville, which was a shot. But gets the second chance, and it's 10-5 this quarter. 23-11, 12 the margin. Nearly at 7 minutes till half time.
Look, I think, the stats really do at the moment speak to what you said earlier, Millsy, that the Northern Rays, they're shooting at actually a much higher percentage compared to the Tigers for this quarter. But it's their ability to get the ball into their goalers. That's the issue.
Yeah, it's breaking down right on that circle. They can get to the edge quite well, but feeding the circle is a little difficult. Like as good as Zoe McIntyre is, she's not super tall.
Yep.
She's not super, bulky to hold the space or anything like that. So as a result, it's sort of, it's hard to feed her.
Yep.
She moves beautifully, and when she gets it, well, the statistics show she can shoot. So it's just a matter of getting it to her, and the same with the goal attack. They're having a bit of trouble there as well, and they've changed goal attacks for this quarter, bringing on Dupay.
Yeah.
So.
And the defenders are doing a great job at winning the ball back, and so too are the Tigers.
Yeah. So, it's a very defence-oriented game, but there's a little bit of class in the Tigers shooting circle with Amy Somerville, so it's on cue. Didn't cost her that one. And that goal to Somerville, where's her stats? Disappeared on me. Oh, 9 from 12, 75%.
So we just looked there at the last goal from Somerville. It looks like a tactical timeout has been called. Each team eligible for 1 tactical timeout each half. Good opportunity to reset and just regroup.
Tracy Bruce looking very relaxed there in her Tigers t-shirt.
She is indeed.
Just having a little chat to their players. It'd be just more of the same, wouldn't it?
Yeah, look, definitely. I think they'd be looking to just polish up a little bit of the things that have, you know, those little breakdowns that are happening. But on the whole, they'd be really happy with where they are so far. We see that it was actually Cadlesic that is at the centre at the moment.
Yep.
So she moved from centre. She started in centre and she's remained there.
Yep. I think the only change they made was goal attack. Dupay's come on.
And possibly their wing attack, but Williams was on. But anyway, we see the Tigers are very happy there in their huddle.
Jumping around having a great time.
Yeah.
Is it too early to call this game? Can the Northern Rays fight back?
Oh, look, I think, you know, they'll be looking to just maximise some of those opportunities that they've had to keep them competitive.
They've had plenty of ball, haven't they?
They have had plenty of ball.
Like the turnovers, they've created 6, but unfortunately only scored off 1 of them. So that's hasn't been good for them in their centre pass conversions. Again, they've had 8 and only scored 4, so 50% not high enough. You'd be looking at, you should be looking at 100%, but anywhere in that 90 range is acceptable.
Yeah, definitely.
And the Tigers, on the other hand, they're at 88% for their 7 out of 8. So.
And 100% for their turnovers that they've converted. So
margin 7 for the quarter. It's starting to get away.
Yeah. Tigers will be looking to have got 4, you know, just under 5 minutes to go, looking to really try and, you know, push it out on this scoreboard. And it'll be, sometimes it's, you know, it can become a challenge, obviously. You know, the scoreboard's in their favour to go through the motions. Knowing that, you know, a core of this group, they won't want that to happen.
It can sometimes be brought down to another team's level. That's no disrespect to the Northern Rays, but, you know, there's a bit of a class gap here. And, you know, the Tigers have to be professional to maintain the performance that they've put out thus far. And that was nice play. They're using the triangle particularly well. So
yeah, they are doing a really good job. And credit to the Rays defenders there, Cooper and Fredrickson. You know, they kept repositioning to kind of make them have to swing and open it up for them.
Look at the Rays. They're all on one side of the court. Now the shooters come in there as well. You can throw a blanket over them at the moment.
So
I think that was Middleton.
It was. Well done.
Just dominating this commentary thing there.
So Tigers back in possession. So by far Somerville has been the dominant shooter, which is what we would expect anyway in this team, or in this quarter.
Certainly is. So she's been one of the best shooters in the competition. So
there's the fake that Katie Walker was instructing her players to use during that tactical timeout.
Again, straight to Walker on the outside.
And Somerville opens up.
They've used the triangle, like every time they've come down for the last 7 or 8, they've used that triangle offense, and it's just hard for the Rays to stop at present.
Yeah, look, definitely. Looks like there's been a replacement on at the wing defence. Wilcox is off.
That's for Northern Rays you're talking about?
Yeah, it looks like Brooke Larson may have joined the court. We'll have to have a look a bit closer when our camera pans.
Is that Kayla Larson?
Sorry, Kayla Larson. My apologies, Kayla. Does look like Kayla Larson.
They all look the same. You got dodgy eyes. Seems blonde hair's a trend. So.
Yeah, Kayla has been featured in the 17s Queensland squads over the last couple of years, so it's great to see her on the court at this level.
Nice drive there by McIntyre, but see again, it's just the next phase.
But just missing that connection into that goal circle, aren't they?
Absolutely, they can get it to the circle quite well. It just breaks down from there. That time, McIntyre thought she should come out and help, and it worked, but then the ball distribution was poor. So how would you fix that, Supercoach?
Yeah, look, it's a hard one. I think at times they just need to make sure that they've got more than one option to the ball. In that last one, I don't think McIntyre really had a strong option to that ball, which is why it went over the sideline. Just encouraging them to continue to ensure that they do have that, and that they may have to go backwards sometimes, but they've got to be sure with that.
Backwards to go forwards.
Great touch there by Larson, but deemed to have gone offside.
It's pesky shoelaces.
It's those bright pink shoes of hers.
So a few of the Northern Rays are wearing them. Maybe a sponsor thing.
It could be Mizzuno's. Who knows?
Another solid shot there by Somerville.
Yeah, she has shot 15 out of 18 goals for this quarter. So by far, the most dominant shooter on the court.
Quarter's really got away from the Northern Rays here. Like it was, again, as we talked about in the first quarter, it was even for a while, and then boom.
Yeah, definitely.
10 goals straight sort of ruined that.
Yeah, definitely. If you look at some of the stats that we can see, centre pass conversions 92%, turnover game, so they've turned the ball over 10 times and they've converted 10 times. So all those things start to add up, and if you compare the 10 turnovers that the Tigers have got so far and the 6 that the Rays have got, haven't they've turned the ball over quite a bit but only scored off the 1. And then making unforced errors, stepping, poor pass selection or decisions. So against a team like the Tigers, that's not, you can only do that for so long. Great get there by Cooper and great backup by Larson.
Well, they've scored 16 of the last 19 goals have gone to the Tigers. So, and again, they've only scored 7 this quarter, the Rays 6 in the first. So, hence the scoreline 34-13. The momentum definitely with the Tigers since it went goal for goal for a little while, and then boom, all of a sudden it was done.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But, lots of positives, I think, too. Like, the Rays need to draw on those things to keep their, morale up. And keep pushing and think about, how they can build on these things, both for the second half of this game, but also looking forward to next season. The Tigers, on the other hand, will just be wanting to repeat over the next 2 quarters.
And they're doing it quite well at this stage, and we go for a short pause, I believe.
Yes, we will go for a break for halftime. We'll be back. I know. Welcome back to the second half between the Carina Leagues and the Northern Rays here at the Queensland State Netball Centre. We're in round 14, the last and final round of the HART Sapphire series before finals start, Millsy.
Looking forward to finals. Hopefully I'll be back.
Yes.
So, vote for Dave. Ring Netball Queensland.
Yeah. So we have a look at some of the half-time stats. What do they tell us?
Well, they tell us that the Tigers are definitely dominating on many areas. Centre pass conversions, they've basically had the same, 24-25. One team has converted 20 of them, which is the Tigers, and unfortunately for the Rays, only 9. That's 38 and 80%. Like, that's scary. Turnovers created is exciting. Like 35 turnovers both teams have created combined. But the turnover conversion with the Tigers at 90%, that's excellent. That's like world class. Unfortunately, the Northern Rays only 40%. So they're getting a lot of ball. They're not converting it. Tigers go on these big runs, and that unfortunately makes it very hard for the Rays to get any sort of traction in the game.
Yeah, look, definitely. I think, the positive for the Rays, I think that they'll be looking at is that they've had their opportunities. The work-ons is that they've really got to take those opportunities to goal.
Like, as we've said throughout the whole broadcast, they're shooting quite well. Like, when McIntyre gets it, I think she's at 100% for the game thus far, or very close to it. The stats have just gone down. So, so it's just... they get it to the circle well, and they just can't quite finish it off.
Yeah, I know. And I think our frustration is that we really want them to get it to the goal and score. Does. Definitely. So we see them in possession here.
Here we go.
Starting. It looks like Williams has moved into centre. And it looks like Crosley has come back on into wing attack. Great challenge there by Walker. She's pretty happy with that turnover.
Yes, as she would be. Unfortunately, though, that missed opportunity again for the Rays. And if someone will hit them here, and she does, immediately they're on the back foot.
Yeah, look, definitely. The Tigers, on the other hand, took a little while to find their rhythm, but now they're starting to really purr. We see Lexi Baker's come back on to the court, this time in at wing attack. A nice feed in there to Somerville, who is able to convert.
Oh, great shot there by Somerville.
It looks like Madison Cooley has come onto the court in at wing defence, replacing Claire Haig. Oh, well done there. Great touch there by Middleton. Unlucky, unable to pick up there by Grant.
It's super hard work for the Rays, isn't it? There you go, another turnover. They just can't get that circle. They can't get in there. So if you were shopping for the Rays next year, you'd be looking for a big unit, like a tall or someone who can get in that circle, own a bit of space. Yeah,
well, definitely. And continue to work. I think like you identified with McIntyre, she's got some really good attributes, continuing to, to work on that. And, one of the things I know from, working with these regional athletes is that real strong body contest that they might not be used to. So really making sure that those, girls are getting in the gym and doing that work.
So that transition was perfect to this point, and now it breaks down. Now we've got the shooters. Both shooters are out of the circle. There's no target in there, and of course, then they can't hit it. So.
Yeah. And I think when the, the centre court and the defenders are working really hard, in attack, they're looking for that longer ball connection, which sometimes they may need to take the extra pass, but it's just not coming out off for them.
It's just disappointing for the defence. The defence are working so hard.
Yeah. And there we go, another great turnover there by Cooper.
And again, straight away, that's been thrown away. So, yeah.
It's kind of been the story of their day and probably almost the story of their season in some ways.
And you think the off-court thing affects the athletes as well? Like, when there was all that drama, whether they'd be in the comp, wouldn't be in the comp?
Yeah, look, I'm not...
just business as usual, training hard?
Yeah, look, I think so. Obviously they would have been doing everything they possibly could to stay, but that thing, that situation was really out of their control in some ways. So I'm sure Gillian would have had them focused on just, making sure that they're doing the work at training, so that if and when they got their opportunity, they were able to, shine on the court. And I think, from where they started to where they come, they will definitely, there would have been improvements.
Well, that's the positive. So Nice pass off. Ooh, I think Gomes got a tip on that.
Yeah, she
Out
did.
of the hand. Brilliant effort.
So little things like that, I think, can be coached, to change. Duplay just making sure that she steps away and around, and just those little things, I think, could help the Rays tremendously. But they'll draw and take those experiences away from this season into next season for sure.
Indeed. So nice replay there. Walker is running the floor beautifully at the moment.
Yeah. It is the Walker show.
Again.
Yeah, there's a great hold up there by Middleton. You could see that Williams is coming strong onto the ball. Held it up and made a captain go back.
So Grant gets her own rebound and another one. That's a great start to the Tigers. They're 6 block this quarter.
Yeah.
And if my maths is correct, they're on a 22 of the last 25 goals have gone their way.
Yeah, McIntyre just rolls out. She gets another go at it.
Indeed. Gets it on the second occasion. So
Tigers back in possession. Just doing the little things right. Getting it to circle edge and waiting till something opens up, and the ever reliable Somerville. 100% so far in this quarter.
Now look at her stats at 3/4 time. It'd be pretty impressive for the match, I feel. In your capacity as coach, have you worked with any of these athletes from the Northern Rays?
The only one that I have is the one in possession there, Kayla Larson, when she was part of the 17s squad.
Yep.
A couple of years ago. Actually, I lie. Ariana Wilcox, who was just in possession there, who's come on at wing attack, was in the 19s and under squad this year, with Chantel Chikutau, who's on the bench at the moment.
A great intercept by the Tigers and transition. Slowed up this time a little bit. Okay.
Oh, ball comes off Lee Grant's knee there.
Again, both shooters struggling to get the ball. Timing's a bit out at the moment, and both shooters, when they do the lead, it's the wrong time. So
yeah, look, definitely. They don't necessarily look like they're working together as such. Oh, it looks like the ball. Oh no, I thought it may have been a turnover, but no, the Tigers have been asked to take it back in the goal third.
It's just the transition is it's like watching two different games, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Tigers are a well-oiled machine, and the Rays are a bit stop-startish every time they get a turnover.
Great long shot there by Grant. So we see that the Rays have only scored 1 goal so far in this quarter, and they've only scored 1 of their 5 centre passes. So all those things start to add up. You see Somerville again.
They certainly do. So it's pretty amazing at the moment. Of the last 10, they've scored 9. That's the Tigers, that is. Of the last 28, they've scored lots.
Yeah.
25 of them. So
That was a better build-up there by the Rays. And
nice shot by Dupay.
yeah, Dupay rewards them and puts it in the goal for them.
It's just, you said at half-time, it's just going to be Tigers repeat, and they're doing exactly that.
Yeah. Yeah, look, they'll be, disappointed not making the 4 this year, but they'll certainly be wanting to finish this season off, the way that they, in the way that they want to play.
Yeah, they're exciting franchise. They've got some great players, so it is a surprise that they're where they are on the ladder, but, they'll be better for it, and they'll come back stronger and better next year.
Yeah, look, definitely they've got some great young juniors, the Tigers. Players like Maddie Grant, Madison Cooley, Lily Gribble, all those players, are fantastic young up-and-coming athletes. So the Tigers are going to be,
So Grant will probably replace Baker in the starting line next year?
Potentially, yes.
And Middleton, who would replace her if you...
You've got Madison Cooley and Lily Gribble, both junior underage players who play in the circles. So, yeah, I think the future is bright for them.
We have a timeout, a tactical timeout.
Yeah, it looks like the Rays called that tactical timeout, and they probably need to when we look at the score for this quarter, 11-2.
Yeah, it's not pretty reading. Like their conversion rates certainly dropped now. That they're down to 29% for their centre pass conversions. The turnovers, they've only created the 2, and that's been their strength in this match. And the 2 they've created, they haven't scored off either of them. And but it's all positive up the other end of the court. Like 6 from 6 centre pass conversions for the Tigers. Turnovers, they've created 6, scored off 6. And every time they've gone in the circle, 11 out of 12 times they've scored.
Yeah.
So the statistics do tell us a story.
Yeah, well, they certainly reflect the scoreboard. 45 to the Tigers at the moment, 15 to the Rays.
My prediction of 22 a little bit small.
So you didn't get right.
It's a bit right. So.
Yes. So we see lots of people while we wait for the teams to come back on to court. There's quite a buzz in the Queensland State Netball Centre this afternoon, isn't there, Millsy, with the Vicky Wilson
This is a
Cup.
magnificent venue. I've luckily or unluckily, I've been to a lot of indoor courts,
yes,
wooden courts throughout Australia, and this is one of the best ones I've seen. So yeah, it certainly is buzzing today. We've got quite a big crowd with the Vicky Wilson Cup going on and all that, and lots of juniors sticking around watching the elite competition, dreaming one day they'll be playing for the Tigers or the Northern Rays, or maybe even dreaming to be a Firebird or a Sunny Coast Lightning girl. So
yeah, look, definitely. I think it's.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say it's great because there are some teams from North Queensland that are here for the Vicky Wilson Cup. So to see, what they potentially can aspire to and play. Whilst, the Rays aren't doing so well on the scoreboard this afternoon, they are, doing some good things, and it's about trying to string those things together.
It's important that they're in the comp because it's a pathway option for country players, etc. And, that's very important for the development of, all the netball within Queensland. So.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's great to see some young boys sitting in there watching it. And
absolutely.
Of course, whilst it's still female dominated, the male side of the game is growing all the time. Netball Queensland have been supportive of that, and have had competitions in the past, and at state championships this year they had a men's division and a boys division, sorry. And so the growth of netball across the whole spectrum is continuing, which is very, very positive.
Yeah, definitely, and we see. We also saw during the week that the Queensland government has gotten behind Netball Queensland as a way to try and get more Queenslanders moving more often. So fantastic, and why not? Given the high participation kind of rates of the sport across the state.
Well, a lot of centres now are starting to do that walking netball, like for the. Dare I say it, the older player, that doesn't want to run around at 1 million miles an hour and doesn't want to do the Katie Walker.
Have you played yet?
Well, so discrimination. It's just for women at the moment. So
I'm sure
I'll play that card. I'll play the discrimination card. So yeah, no, honestly,
it's great. I've heard very good things about that competition.
It's huge in the UK. I've done some work over there, and in the UK, it is huge. And it is just people that just want to get back, do a bit of sport, but don't want to play at that ridiculously high impact. So
and probably can't in some ways,
for sure.
Depending on the people that are playing. So fantastic. It's great to see.
Yeah, so this is the facility we've been crying out for a decade, really, this centre, isn't it? So, I mean, the other state netball centre was good, but multi-purpose, not good seating, so.
Yeah, no, this is custom built and custom fit for not just, the HART Sapphire series and the schoolgirls competitions, but also for the Queensland Firebirds. They play, they train here. So, it's great to have kind of everyone together at the one place in our home here.
Indeed it is. Unfortunately though, I feel the Firebirds, as they grow and get better and bigger, and they're going to outgrow this venue. It only holds 5.5, is that right? 5,000 people?
Yeah, so, that's correct.
When they're, they have played at the Entertainment Centre previously and had crowds of 7,000, 8,000, so.
Yeah, look, definitely.
Did you watch the Suncorp final last week?
I did watch the Suncorp final last week.
That's enough said. We'll leave it at that. What a great game.
Look, it was a great game. So the
Tigers here are continuing to dominate. So 15-4 this quarter.
Yeah, and we see that some changes have occurred. Schuster's moved into centre, and Katie Walker has taken a well-deserved break on the bench.
See if there's any change here. Just give it a chance to raise me with Walker off the court.
Absolutely. Tikatawa there in a goal shooter.
Goes very hungry for the ball there. Defending off the court, yeah, well, she was actually off the court. Nice shot there by Dupay. So she's 3 from 4 for this quarter.
Yeah, look, similar to kind of the story of all of the shooters for the Rays this afternoon. It hasn't necessarily been their inability to shoot, it's been the inability to get them the ball.
Yeah. So taking McIntyre off at this stage.
Great rebound there again by Fredrickson. So the Rays, working really hard, but at the moment, for a minute there, both of their goals were outside of the circle, which made it really tough then for their centre court to find some space.
As a unit, the shooting end haven't worked well together. They're both out, both in, both stationary, both moving. It's just, we always like to have options, but they're giving exactly the same every time. So it's been hard for the mid-quarters and to hit it. It's very hard to hit a moving target, and they've been moving a little bit too often at times. And when they're stationary, for me, they haven't put their body in the best position to be an option for the stationary passing.
A great touch there by Cooper.
It's a shame because they are turning over some brilliant ball.
Yeah, they are. They're doing a great job in turning the ball over. They just need to...
I think Fredrickson's been amazing today. So.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with how Fredrickson has gone, and even Cooper, given who we said that Somerville has been one of the more dominant shooters in this competition. So to really, take it to her, I think is a credit to her. She's just not been able to. Her team down the other end, despite trying and effort, just haven't been able to connect well enough to improve their score on the scoreboard. In saying that, though, Dupay shoots a lovely goal.
Well, this has been their most productive, or equals their most productive, of 7 goals in the quarter. 6 in the first, 7 in the second, and 7 in the third at this stage. They might get one more chance here. They turn it over, or it's their centre next. So if we can get this one, that'd be great. 6, 7, 8, improving. So there it is, opportunity.
There you go.
Just
goodness me.
Oh, Dupay will get this.
Really?
Bank it home. Yes.
Oh.
Boom. The Rays. It's an 8th for the quarter. Actually,
there's probably a
nice play.
There was a lovely play, and probably time for another couple of centre passes, depending on how quick the Tigers score.
Oh, let's see. We've got 5 seconds. I don't think we're going to take it.
Oh, okay, that one.
I was looking at the main board.
And that would be the correct board.
Yeah.
So the Tigers dominant again in that third quarter, winning it 18-8. I mean, I think, there's no... When we look to the stats, it's pretty much been a repeat performance by the Tigers, just really making the most of the opportunities in possession that they've had in that quarter.
They're winning all the key stats, like the centre pass conversions and all that. And, of course, with Somerville hitting 14 out of 14, that's pretty impressive figures. So, and from my memory, like 2 weeks ago when I was here, she did exactly the same thing in the third quarter. I think she was 16 of 16. So, it's going to be hard for the Rays. It's almost impossible. But, so they've just got to dig deep, try and win a quarter, finish the season on a high, and if they can just pinch this last quarter, it'd be a magnificent effort by them.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back. welcome back to the final quarter between the Carina League's Tigers and the Northern Rays in round 14 of the HART Sapphire series. I'm here with David Mills. Millsy, what have we seen so far in this game?
Well, we've seen a completely one-sided game, unfortunately. We've seen that the Tigers have, after a little bit of a shaky start for about the first 7 or 8 minutes, have just clicked into gear, led by Katie Walker brilliantly, and through the brilliant shooting of Amy Suttle, all have completely dominated. When I say that, Sutton's hit 43 out of 48 at 90%. That's impressive. I know you're a big fan of hers, and she's certainly delivering for you today. And we've got a situation where the Rays are just playing for pride and trying to win a quarter, and all the stats that we flash up from time to time don't go that way for them. They're sort of losing all the key areas, centre pass conversions, the turnover to goal ratio, and the amount of times into the circle. They're not scoring enough, basically. Hence we got the score on a 52-21. Having said that, that was their best quarter. They scored 8 in that quarter, so if they could just have like a 12-13 quarter here, they might be able to pinch it off the Tigers.
Yeah, look, definitely.
Because they're getting plenty of ball through Fredrickson, who we've commented on regularly in this broadcast. He's done a great job, but Walker's back out there now, so
yeah, look,
Tigers definitely don't want to lose the quarter then if they've brought her back out.
No, that's right, and they've got both Baker and Middleton on the court who will be departing the Tigers after this game to head over to the UK to play in the Vitality League. So I think the last quarter that the Tigers group will be together for maybe ever. Depending if the other two ever come back. So, they'll be wanting to finish off on a high.
They're all tearing up here. Great intercept there. Oh,
yeah, Dupay unfortunately unable to connect.
Brilliant effort.
Yeah, look,
pitched it straight back.
She did, and she did off the centre pass earlier in the game and just wasn't able to keep possession. The Rays as well, this is their last game for the season, so they'll be wanting to finish on a high as well. And that long flight back up north to Townsville or wherever they all are based.
Yeah.
They'll be wanting to go
in the north. So how does UK Super League clubs hear about our competition and pick 2 of our players? Is it our brilliant broadcast that we're taking worldwide, do you think? Or
look, I think that's absolutely a part of it. I'm unsure, to be honest. It may be a bit of both. It might be the players putting themselves out there. It could be those clubs, having a look to see. That is an absolute benefit of this league for any of the athletes that are playing, is that because of the live stream, everybody has an opportunity to watch and see these week out performances. Well, I hope you put your hand up, Millsy.
We might be going over with Sky. I think Sky broadcasting over there.
Well, make sure you shout out to us when you're over
there.
I will.
Next year. I'll say later. Talk to my good mate Dan Ryan, see if we can get me a gig. Okay. If you're watching, Dan,
make sure you get better glasses for that one.
Oh, jeez. It's English conditions. You don't need glasses over there. It's beautiful.
As he reaches for his glasses to put them back on.
Oh, dear. Seriously, I don't get paid enough. Another turnover to the Tigers. Is that Middleton again? She is having some match.
Yeah, look,
it's hard to split between Middleton and Somerville, who's been the best. Yeah,
they've both had great outings this afternoon.
Actually, it's hard to pick any of them who, we've got to name a man of the match, I believe. Katie Walker's been brilliant. Middleton,
Yeah, look, definitely. I think it's been easier to kind of pick the, for me, the Rays stand-up player has definitely been Fredrickson. She's really, pushed and been able to disrupt a lot in that Tigers circle, and she's had a lot to do today. She's had a busy afternoon, given the scoreline and the amount of ball that she's been faced with.
Yeah, the ball's been down her end a lot. She's been quite brilliant. Their first for the quarter, no, again.
Oh, great touch there by Cooley. Was able to tip Tikatau's shot, and Dupay was unable to keep possession.
Again, there's Fredrickson hustling, Chloe Fredrickson. 11 minutes to go in the match.
Trying to intercept again, but unfortunately called offside.
6-0 at the moment. It's going to be tough to win the quarter even.
Yeah, look, definitely. No question about that. Maddie Grant. Great shot there by her.
So 100% again this quarter. That'll take her to 48 out of 53 for the match.
Yeah, great stats there by Amy this afternoon.
Great volume, great percentage.
That was a good touch there by Williams.
Nice transition. This is beautiful.
Yeah, look,
this is where it gets a bit rusty, but
well done.
This time not so much. Short shot though, unfortunately.
Yeah, Tao too worried about the handover.
Step back or step around, or what would you say there, Supercoach?
Yeah, do something.
Do something. Wise words there.
Look, I think
Simone,
she tried to fake on the
something.
shot, but she didn't move the defender, so she needed to identify that a bit earlier and, yeah, do all of the above that you just mentioned.
Is this the end of your season, Timmy? Like when we finish here, are you still coaching, or what are you? You're doing a million different things in netball.
Yeah, look, no, well, not really. The state titles that'll be here next week for the under-16 and under-18s.
Yeah.
So that is all of the Sapphire League teams for the under-18s will be represented there, and for the under-16s it'll be all of the what were previously known as the regions, I suppose is the best way to describe it. We'll have teams entered in the under-16s, and they will play for 3 days here at the State Netball Centre, and the 17 and under squad will be chosen for that after that weekend, and the 19 and under squad will be chosen. So in some way work begins for the underage programs come next weekend, because we start planning then once we have an idea of who our squads will be. And it all starts again, Morsey.
Awesome. Yeah. Never ends, does it?
Yeah, look, it has been a nice...
Get Christmas off.
Yeah. If I'm lucky. You know, look, it has been a quieter last few months, having not been coaching in the Sapphire series. You know, you've done it as well in the previous kind of iterations of what this competition was. It's a hard week in, week to week kind of grind. You know, it can be quite tedious. So
it truly was. Like for me, we were doing, depending how our performance was, we were definitely doing two a week, and sometimes even more if we needed to. I had some good years, like one of my charges, Laura Shearing, just made the Diamonds team, so I was very happy with that. So I've had some good teams where we didn't need to train any more than twice a week, but there's a lot of stuff goes on that people don't see. Like in our day, we used to have the old video camera, and we'd be analysing that and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of work goes on for coaches, and I admire all of them for doing what they do. And then of course there's an expectation that you're going to support the region with regards to coaching clinics and junior support and developing the next level of player. And it's a big commitment, and I admire anyone who can do it and put their life on hold, basically, as netball seems to consume you once you start doing that. I did it for 6 years and had some reasonable success. I was very happy with it, and glad I'm not doing it now. So
look, definitely. So I think not only will the weekend games come to an end for a lot of the athletes and coaches and managers and all those people involved with these teams, so too will those, the week-to-week trainings, the early morning gym sessions, the conditioning sessions, etc. So
yeah, that's the big difference I've noticed. Like from my time as a coach, I think it lasted in 2012 or something. Like it is the professionalism. Like we gave them gym programs and we encouraged them to do it, but they had to pay for it themselves and all that sort of stuff. There just wasn't the money that there is now, and through this HART sponsorship and stuff, the teams can be more professional. It's almost semi-professional, isn't it? I don't know if the players get paid, but it's the effort that the player, the individual athlete and coach are putting in is paramount to a semi-professional sport. And that's positive for netball Queensland, and we'll get better, and that'll flow on, at ANL where you're at, and then of course, our Firebirds and Lightning team should get better. So, and that just means netball strength across the whole country gets better. So
yeah, look, definitely.
It's dragging on a little bit, the game, isn't it? Like it's Tigers just continue the domination, and as hard as they fight the Rays, they just can't make any inroads.
Yeah, look, I think the difference, particularly in this last quarter, has been, earlier on in the game, the Rays were able to disrupt and turn the ball over a lot more from the Tigers. But if we see, the Tigers have been able to score, all of their centre passes so far and all of the ball that they've turned over, it just kind of shows the effect that the Rays, or the non-effect that the Rays are being able to have compared to the way that they did start.
Don't forget, of course, we're beaming live to Facebook, so you can always drop us a line or ask Simi a question. Simi, a former Fijian international. I'm sure she'll answer them. So,
I'll try my hardest. Oh, unlucky there. Breaking call from the Rays.
Absolute coach killer. So, never understood what players break.
Yeah.
Margin of 40, 66-26, 5 to go in the last.
Tigers again, oh, well done to Fredrickson.
She has not stopped trying this game.
No, she hasn't. Despite, she's turned the ball over and then unfortunately her team has turned it back over.
And this has been Maddie Grant's best quarter. She's shooting at 100% as well, which is not what the Rays needed. So that was one area where the GA sort of for the Tigers was a little bit down to 75, which is still not bad, but
no, definitely. We see Leah Milton here has come on to goal shooter, which is absolutely not her position, but is the position that she has asked every coach, I'm sure, that she's ever played for, including during her time in the Fusion earlier this year.
Well, she walked away from the shot. She had a penalty pass, a shot under the ring. Is this a farewell gift, do you think?
I think so. They both, Tracy Bruce and her, had a big smile as she entered the court with the goal shooter bib on. I'm not sure who shot that, but I don't believe it was Leah, because I think you would have heard the bench going crazy if it was.
I think she might get another chance. It's coming back now.
Yeah, I think all of her players on court and off the court will be... there you go. If she scores this, they're going to go crazy. There we go. The bench is up. They're clapping and cheering. Oh, great.
If the Storm are watching, they'll be very impressed with that.
She can play both positions.
Multi-talented player coming.
Katie Walker only has eyes for her at the moment. She's just looking and trying to get her the ball as much as she can.
Sorry, there's obstruction there.
Oh, great shot again by Middleton.
Doing it all. William Middleton. This would have to make a man of the player of the match, wouldn't it? So,
I reckon it's a move of the match by Tracy Bruce to put her there. And
you think the Tigers should have done it maybe round 4 and they might have been in the finals. So.
Although she has replaced the,
incredible Somerville.
Dominant, Somerville.
So.
Well done, Cooley. Read that beautifully. Looks like Amy Somerville is bibbing up to come back on in at goal attack. Oh, great drive there by Middleton. She wasn't quite sure what to do as she got...
Did palm off the defender there. Hello, defence. That was a nice pass though. Unless the stats change, they might put it down as a shot. I'll tell you what, she holds pretty well for a shooter.
She does, and I love that Walker is looking at nobody else except her every time she gets the ball.
Yeah, Grant was wide open there. She gets her own board too. The girl can do it all.
She can do it all, definitely.
Sorry, Storm, you've got a superstar coming.
Yeah.
Let's see if she can put the centre bib on. Mind you, Walker probably won't give it up.
Oh, here we go, refeed. Oh!
It was a little bit wayward. Work in progress, sorry, Storm. So.
Oh, look, but she has that, attribute that you really can't coach. She just turned and went to the post despite. Oh. Dupay did a good job there to hold her feet.
So, game's winding down. 43 the margin. A 19-7 quarter. They've been very consistent, the Tigers, scoring high each quarter.
Yeah, look, they have. With the exception of that first quarter and that first part, they have been very dominant and have been dominant from the second, third, and this last quarter. They've been dominant from the start of those, each of these quarters.
Yeah, pretty much from about the 6.5 minute mark of that first quarter, they just put the foot to the pedal to the metal, as they say.
Yeah, they found their rhythm and they were able to, do the things that they are so very good at. Gosh, Leah Middleton is trying to rack up, her
making shooting look easy at the moment.
She is,
It's quite a difficult job.
She does practice a lot as a defender to shoot.
She's double teamed there, still got the ball. And they're scoring at a ridiculously fast rate now. It's probably the fastest they've scored the entire match. Someone will be happy if she's leaving the club.
Yeah.
Bit of showtime there. It's a replay, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. Did a good job to try and attempt, but...
Oh, no replay. Out of court.
Out of court. Can Leah Middleton have a final
It's coming
goal?
She's still there.
Oh, missed her hair.
You're right, Walker is only looking for her.
She does not want to give it to anyone else.
Someone was open like a book there.
Oh, Leah Middleton.
And that's the end of the match.
End of the match. Great to see smiles from both teams, particularly Middleton, who plays her last game in the Tiger dress, at least for a little while as she heads over to the UK with Lexi Baker. But well done to both teams. You know, they've had a tough season, you know, up and down, had lots of issues, particularly with the Rays off court, you know, so it's credit to them to be able to remain in the competition and play right to the very end. And they never gave up this afternoon, despite the score and despite the stats, did they? Absolutely
not. Like, they were very consistent. Their offense was about the same, like 6, 7, 8, and then 7. You know, so they're working as hard as they can in the offensive end. They just lack sort of one classy player up that front end. If they can make a change there in coming seasons, and then that would increase their volume of goals. I thought for them, Chloe Fredrickson's a bit of a superstar. She got a lot of ball and worked as hard as she possibly could. Had many opportunities because, as you said earlier in the broadcast, the ball was coming down her end a lot. But the class of Somerville, Middleton, Walker, that's one on each third. Bookends, you know, what do you want to call the spine of the team, as we say in rugby league. You know, it was just a little bit too classy for the Rays on today's performance.
Yeah, look, definitely. Definitely. They were always going to have a hard kind of afternoon up against the Tigers, and given, you know, kind of the context in which they were playing last game of the season, players leaving the club, etc. But they did, you know, they put up a good fight, and, you know, we'll be looking forward to next season to build on the things that they've learned from this year.
Depending when the season finishes, though, in the UK, I think it finishes about April, May. Depending when we start here, they might be a chance of coming back and playing the second half of the year if they're not netballed out, because they're going to go basically from this season into another season straight away. And because I know a lot of the teams are already in pre-season training over there, so
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we wish them well. Of course, Alexia Baker's going to the Wasps and Leah Middleton off to the Surrey Storm. So
yeah, definitely.
Fingers crossed it's a successful move for them, and they get some valuable experience and help them with their netball career moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll stay tuned to see if we see them back again in the Tiger dress. So that's the first game of round 14 this afternoon, Millsy. We are going to be returning shortly to see the Thunder versus the Jets, I believe. But if we just have a look here, we talked about it, but the stats really do show why the Tigers are so very dominant on the scoreboard this afternoon. You know, in comparison, the Rays, for example, scored half the centre passes that the Tigers did.
It's not really good reading, other than the shooting percentages are the same, which is surprising. That's probably because of Middleton missing a few there late, because Somerville was shooting at an incredible rate. When I had her stats up, there was something like 58 out of 68 or something ridiculous. No, sorry, it was 53 out of 58 at that stage. You know, so she was shooting ridiculously well, and then got replaced by her defensive teammate Middleton. The big one for me as a coach is the turnover conversion, like 33% for the Rays, and they got a lot of ball. If they could have just made that 60, doubled that, and they would have been margin would have been much closer. Probably wouldn't have won the game, but they would have been a lot closer, maybe even pinched a quarter. But 91% conversion for the Tigers. Oh, geez, as a coach, you'd be just beside yourself for that.
You'd be really happy with that, absolutely.
So that's very positive. And they won all 4 quarters, took 18 points for the match. Still keeps them just outside the 4, unfortunately.
Yeah, it will definitely unfortunately for them. But, you know, well done to both teams. We are going to take a short break, and we will be back for the second game of round 2 at 3:20 between the Jets and the Thunder.